Welcome to Make Pods Great Again. I'm your host, John, back with my girl, Nikki. Nikki, how are you?
I'm so good. How are you?
I am excellent. We have one of our favorite people on the show tonight, Jacob Heppner. Jacob, how are you?
Oh, that's such a great intro. Favorite person. Hey, I'm doing well, John. How are you?
Not very many people get that intro. That was special
It's
just for
true.
you, man.
It's true.
Yes.
I know we don't have a lot of repeat guests either, but I was like very excited to have you back because it's always so easy. You're just easy to talk to, you know.
Speaking of easy to talk to, commentating. I wanted to post our video of me taking the mic from you and being like, look, I've already done it. I've got experience. Pull me in.
Someone hire me, please. Absolutely, you should. I feel like that was your first big break on ESPN.
Was it on ESPN?
I think we were on ESPN that year. I have to look it up. I'll send you the video. I think I just recorded it from the live feed, but still.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
That was the first time I ever legitimately got in trouble working in the media.
You told me this story about someone getting mad at you.
It's like everyone was so mad at me. They were like, you can't let anyone take the mic out of your hand. I'm like, I don't know. He's a big sweaty guy. I just let him do whatever. I didn't know.
Hey, look, Jacob, if she pops this baby out early, they may need somebody to do the sidelines. That could be you, man.
He's right. He's totally right.
I'd be good at it. I would. If I need to put a wig on and look like Nikki, I will pull it off.
You gotta stuff your belly with the pillow if you gotta pull it off. Oh
yeah. Stuff our belly, okay.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta stuff a lot right now, but I'm just saying.
You gotta do a lot of work. Yeah.
You gotta get a lot of work done. No, I'm fully prepared. I don't know. I think I said it on this podcast already, but if not, I just said it to John. Matt and I are fully prepared. If they pick me up for games again this year, which I truly hope that they do, because I would love to have some big whale prego representation in the CrossFit space, which I will be at the time. But Matt and I are fully prepared to drive out to Madison, and we are all stoked at the possibility of just having the baby in Wisconsin. Why not? I don't know why people get all bent out of shape about their birth plans and their hospitals. Hospitals, whatever. Do they have epidurals? Cool, I'm in.
They give you cheese. They don't give you epidurals. They give you cheese in Wisconsin.
Actually, then I would prefer it. Then we might stay in Wisconsin for a couple months just to make sure. I mean, it would be wild. That would be hella early, but still, I mean, we're fine with that idea.
These contractions hurt. And they're like, have some cheese curds. You'll be fine.
That sounds good. We said we were going to pack, when we pack for Madison, if all this works out, we were going to put the infant car seat in the car just in case. So if we have to drive back with the baby, whatever.
You know what's crazy is the fact that this isn't a dig on anybody, but it's crazy to me is you've done it. I mean, I would call you a perennial commentator at the games or interview or whatever you want to call it. But the fact of the matter, it's crazy to me that you guys don't know yet. I would figure you'd be like, I need to plan. You have a baby coming. You need to plan 6 months ahead, No,
I mean, it's broadcast. I mean, the team who puts it together would love to have more time, but just the way that everything goes, and especially with COVID in the last year and regulations changing every 5 minutes, they had a super short timeline to plan everything. And talent is kind of one. I hate calling myself talent, by the way. I hate that I just said that. But on air talent, quote unquote, is usually the last little whatever to be filled. So they know if we're in, but truly every year that I got called back, because I'm just a contractor. So every year I get called back to an event feels like a blessing, because it's not a guarantee. And I know that there's 1,000 million people who want my job, yourself included.
Hey, but I figure I was talking to Sean Woodland and Tommy about it. I'm like, yeah, but we all know each other. I don't want to take anyone's job. Just let me sit there and just let me say what I need to say in the corner.
It's so funny you say that, because it's so like that, because we're all such family that I'm more than anything, I'm like, yes, come be a part of it, do the thing. Yeah. And it's tough because the spots are so limited, but we're very I do love what I do, and I do hope that I get a chance to do it again. But I also love the idea of bringing more people on board and sharing. There's plenty of people to interview.
Yeah, Nikki, since we've been doing this, and so now that you're back to doing the open announcements, people have been messaging me going, "Why aren't you on there doing that with Nikki?" I'm like, they don't want to let me near a live mic. No chance. No chance they're letting me on the live mic.
I would sooner recommend we bring Jacob on.
Yes.
Than...
Oh yeah. Trust me.
I mean, but they've already seen me say stupid stuff on film anyways. And so they're probably like, oh, do we really want to? I mean, he's family friendly, but like, he's saying stupid stuff.
That's a good point.
I can just imagine somebody sitting there with their finger on that button you need to push to bleep people out. As I'm on there just saying stupid things.
Hey, if they let me on without the bleep button, then there's chance for everyone.
Speaking of, huge props to you, Nikki. You did 2 interviews. Like you did one with Carl and then one with Mal O'Brien in the last broadcast, and not an F-bomb between the 2 of them. I was so proud of you.
I didn't
so
do Mal
proud.
O'Brien. Wait.
Yeah, you interviewed Mal O'Brien. You absolutely did, because interviewing teens is a nightmare.
On our podcast.
No. You're having pregnancy brain. You did it on the open announcement. Yes. Go play it back. It's on YouTube. Look it up, pregnancy brain. You absolutely did. Because when
you're gonna have to actually cut this from the show if I can't remember correctly.
No, I'm not cutting it.
I didn't. I interviewed the youngest athlete participating, and she was from Australia. I'm not crazy. I interviewed Carl, who was the oldest, and the youngest girl, and that was not Mal. Yes, 1,000%.
You did interview Mal O'Brien. You absolutely.
Someone did, but it wasn't me.
This is a toss-up.
I think it was new guy Derek. You're gonna have to actually cut this from the show.
I'm not cutting it.
This is embarrassing.
Hey, regardless, you interviewed a teenager, and the teenager.
I did. She was 14.
Not even once.
I didn't. I know. I had to bite my tongue.
And with Carl, Carl's like
totally
86.
Get it. Teenagers are hard to talk to. Like when Olivia first showed up in my barn with her sister Ellie at the time, who went to the games for like 3 years. When they first showed up the barn, man, it was pulling teeth to get him to say one sentence. And so what we started with every day when she would come in the gym, the first thing we'd ask her is, the easiest thing was, what'd you learn at school today? And we'd just get her to talk. What'd you learn in history class? What'd you learn in math class? And then she's gotten better and better to where now she's, socialized enough that she can walk in and start talking and having fun. And it's not like yanking her chain to have her say 10 words in a row.
So when I ran into Olivia at that teen event in Michigan, I went over to introduce myself. And you got to keep in mind, I have 2 teenagers, a 19-year-old and 17-year-old. And my 17-year-old is like an adult. You go talk to her. She could talk to you about current events, politics, like anything, right? She's like super easy to talk to. So I go over to Olivia. I'm like, hey, I want to introduce myself. I'm John. I run Make Watch Great Again. I'm a friend of Jacob. She goes, hi. That was it. Swear to God. I'm like, okay, well, I'm like, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. And then she went and won the event. Like she's so impressive, impressive. But it just cracked me up because that's the way teens are. Like they don't know you. Like they're like stranger danger, and they don't want to talk to you. So
as they should.
Yeah, it's hard though, because I remember early on in the sport when I was still pretty much a nobody, someone pulled me aside, and one of the best advice pieces I got was like, and I was social, but I wasn't super social. People, I'm very talkative and wouldn't hang out because I didn't know that many people. And they're like, hey, if you want to do well in the sport, 1, you need to work out hard and work hard. But 2, if you want to do even better in sport, you need to be a people person. You need to create relationships. You need to talk to people. And that's when I realized that the community is full of so many good people, and you just need to be able to talk to people. Like we all have the same, we all have the same life experiences. We all suffered in 21.2. We all died in 21.1. Like we all did it. We all have the same shared experiences to a degree. So.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. And I think that part of my personal challenge in my earlier CrossFit reporting days was being with the age groups specifically. Like for years, I was only on teens and masters by the time we got to games.
I didn't know. So before you I interviewed myself at the games, you had done age group qualifiers?
That year I might have been, I don't know if I had age group qualifiers that year at games. Did we? Yeah, we did, but I don't think I was on them. Your year, I wasn't, but most years it was either or. So if I was doing talking to individuals or teams, then I wasn't we would have to break it up because it's hundreds of athletes when you think about it that way. But for 3 years in a row, I was just age groups. So there were when Dallin Pepper won over and over and over and aged out, I was looking at photos of the 2 of us from over the course of 3 or 4 years. And I was like, holy shit. I watched this kid literally grow up into a man, and year over year over year, got used to talking to him, got used to pulling information out of him and all of his counterparts. And it was a beautiful way to build a relationship with them and help them get comfortable with being professional athletes, which they are, which is a concept I feel like sometimes they can't really wrap their minds around. Like you guys you're professionals,
Yeah,
but you are like
I mean,
cultivating them for real.
but it's definitely hard. Like I know, like even like when we had spoke or first time someone shoved a mic in my face to talk at
So hard.
21 or 22, 20, that's hard. But man, if I was 15, I was so awkward when I was 15. Who knows what I would have said, like crap, it would have been worse. Like,
Yeah.
my
It's so
mom
hard.
would probably been like, God, I'm so scared. Don't say anything stupid, Jacob.
Please.
I know my wife still says that. She's like, still this day, she'll be like, Jacob, when you took that mic, or Jacob, every time they interview you, I clinch because I'm like, what is he going to say? It's going to be so dumb.
No, it's so good. It's like, you're some of my favorite interviews to, obviously, because I'm stoked when you win, but I have no opinion. So scratch that from the record.
When,
right.
1 in 100 times, it doesn't happen often. When it does, it's great.
Win a heat or whatever. But no, I fully respect how difficult it is to be when the little red light is on. Like it is the hardest thing, harder for some people than others, and especially harder for the kiddos. So they're getting, but now they're professional athletes and you're like making them, you're like doing that. That's like part of what you're doing.
But that's the fun part, is just like, that's the next step for the sport. Like,
yeah,
you're going to see a lot of us, I kind of compare it to like I call it the class of 2014. Like a lot of us came into the games in 2014, like me, Sager, Frazier, Noah, Mayer. A lot of the big names you have in the sport are all slowly not leaving, but we're just stepping down. Like it's just too hard. Like I can't, there's other things in life to do. And now it's like, okay, now we're going to step into our respective places. What are we passionate about? And for me, it's the relationships you create in the sport. And then, I obviously have a 15-year-old I hang out with all the time. I'm very up on TikTok because of it. But no, I'm terrible at it. But like, that's the relationship I have. And so now it's like, okay, well, how do we pour in to these other teenagers in the sport that are going to make us look stupid 5 years from now? They're going to be like, right. Jacob who? Like dumb. Like remember Dallin Pepper or James Sprague or Mallory O'Brien or all these kids that are great.
They're also appreciative of everything that you do for them. And they're so excited, like just seeing that excitement in their eyes. Like when we were in Michigan for the teen event, there was some masters athlete there, and I don't know him by name, and I wouldn't call him by name if I could, but he had apparently was really good and was like kind of standoffish, like didn't want to talk to anyone. But the teens, when you would talk to them, like I went over and talked to one, I'm like, hey, do you want a t-shirt? Like I just had some extra t-shirts. This kid literally rips off the shirt he's wearing. Like we're in the middle of a parking lot, rips it off and puts my t-shirt on. It's like, thank you so much. And then he wore it for like 2 days straight until he stunk, like that's just how these teens are. They're like so appreciative of every little thing you do for them. They're like crazy excited about the sport. And to your point, like you've got these young girls out there, 16 years old, snatching 180 pounds. It's just like, just makes you nauseous watching them, But
so I think like this sport is definitely a breeding ground for humble, like at its core, CrossFit humbles you. Like you're never, very few, like Matt being one of them, you're never going to be great at everything. And he wasn't either. Like he obviously had to work on things too. You're never going to be great at everything. And something out there is going to humble you. And so it's very hard in this sport. I mean, it happens for sure in certain people, but a majority of people in this sport are not very prideful, very humble, and humble people are the salt of the earth and are so easy to get along with. And so you see a lot of us who've come into sport at the age of 20 or 25 or 30 or 40, and we have past life experiences that maybe mold us a certain way. But you see these kids come in an early age at 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and they're getting molded by a sport, and they're creating such a really cool group of kids because they're just salt of the earth. They're just very humble, not very proud. They're easy to get along with. And that's what I'm looking forward to seeing in the future for sure.
There's a lot happening right now that we just covered really fast that I kind of want to unpack a little bit. So can we start with you retiring from competition and like what that has been like for you as we've been in this open? You're stoked. You're so stoked.
Freaking out. I'm doing have fun, kids.
For real? Like you were like, okay, that's it. I'm out. And I like, no, there's no looking back. This is awesome.
We had honestly thought about it for last year. It was from a lot of top athletes. Last year was hard, not only because of COVID and because of shutdowns, because of just everything around the world, but also because the season drug on and you're like, totally. I don't know if there's going to be one. This is so hard. Still a blessing we had one. That was still awesome. It drug on forever. I'd already considered the idea of it being my last one, and that one just put a bad taste in my mouth, and not in a bad way. And I thought to myself, you know what? I think 2021 is going to be the same as 2020. It's not going to be any different. It could possibly be better, but who knows? You know, it's not sometimes up to CrossFit HQ to make those decisions.
Right.
And I had enough other opportunities in the space to do, whether it be athletics or just business related. And I thought to myself, you know what? I think it's time to step away. I've always been in the mentality of I would rather leave the sport for good reasons and make that choice early than be forced out of the sport for, you know, a knee injury or wrist injury, whatever the case may be, or just, I just can't make it anymore. And from my perspective, it's always been, if I'm going to do something, I want to do it well and be elite at it. And if I can't do it, I mean, could I have competed this year and been elite at it? Absolutely. But like, there are bigger opportunities in the sport that I think I would like to step into. And that's kind of how the mental shift has changed over the past couple months.
So are you doing the open workouts this year? Like, are you still CrossFitting?
Nope. Haven't done it. Nice. I don't even know what 21.1 feels like. Don't even know.
You're not missing much. Don't worry about
it. No. We're still working out in the barn. Obviously, I still have Olivia who comes out, a group of people that come out every day and train at 4 o'clock in my barn. And so I still am there for her to train her and be her partner. But to be honest, like if I did 21.2 next to her, she would have lapped me like 3 times. So I'm like I'm not the rabbit anymore. That's for sure. But yeah, we still do a bunch of stuff in the barn and work out a bunch, obviously for other fitness related endeavors. But yeah, we're not doing the open. In my perspective, like it's like, this is different from people. I mean, I encourage most people to do the open. I think it's important. But for my mind, it's like I've competed enough. I don't want to do it. I want to do other things. And if I do it, I'm going to want to do it all the way in. And that's just not something I have time for right now.
What are other things?
So we are going to be, taking part in, it's called the Tactical Games. It's a shooting and fitness related competition. I've obviously been, I grew up shooting guns since I was early, right? And in the Midwest. And so we're going to be doing that. So it's kind of like a mix of CrossFit functional fitness along with shooting. And accuracy. It's like the prime definition of accuracy in the CrossFit 10 general skills, whatever.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be doing that throughout the year. I think Matt's gonna actually come out for one. We're gonna partner up for one together, so that's gonna be fun. Matt and I are gonna be partners.
Oh, for a second, I thought you were talking about my husband, and I'm like, he would love to do that. Yeah. I was literally about to be like, is this an elite only event? Because Matt Brazier, almost Matt Brazier, very close. Very close.
Close enough.
Matt Brazier would love to come out and do something like that. That's right up his alley because he's also been shooting since he was 5.
We're going to be doing that in Utah in May, and then a couple other throughout the year, just kind of spread out. And so that's one of them. And then the other one, the other sport we're taking in, we're jumping in full head of steam is I thought I was going to have more time this year to do other business related things, but now it's looking like no. I'll be able to announce like in a week and a half or something like that. Cool. So yeah.
Yay.
It's underwater basket weaving for those of you wondering.
Oh yes, of course.
I thought we said it was ping. I thought you said ping pong. It's not going to be ping pong.
Oh, it's ping pong. That's right.
I thought it was buttered pig wrangling.
No, llama rodeo.
Oh,
llama rodeo.
Llama. I actually was really hoping that it was competitive dance in heels because to this day, that is my favorite venture that you have tested.
We tried to bring that back for a second series this year, but COVID you couldn't do anything. So our actual idea we had it set up, but I'll tell you why it didn't happen. It's going to be obvious. We had it set up to go. The first series was we did a bunch of random things around Kansas City. The second series, we're like, let's take it to some place that's like well known and do a bunch of stuff there, but it has to be a really big company that has a lot of different jobs. And so we chose St. Jude. And so we were going to go to St. Jude and just do like random jobs on St. Jude's campus, like maybe 4 or 5 of them. And then every episode would be support St. Jude, but every episode would be a different thing. You know, like, I don't know, like when my sister was there for leukemia treatment, like they always had like a dog person bringing dogs. Like, take her, blow up, you know, animal balloons. I don't know.
Balloons. Yeah.
But obviously COVID hit and St. Jude just shut down like a prison. So.
Right. And you still can't like bring auxiliary people into hospitals or medical settings at all, even though things are getting better.
So that one was definitely out.
But that is such a cool idea. I hope that can come back at some point. I hope that you're not too busy with all of your underwater llama cackling or whatever.
So I think we're actually going to take the second season of Jacob of all trades, and we're actually going to do it based on the new sport I'll be announcing. So we're actually going to do that. So we're going to do something for that. But I really love it. It sounds really real, but I really enjoyed the high heel dancing. It was really fun.
Yeah. First of all, that kind of dancing in and of itself makes you feel some kind of way about yourself. All right.
Oh, I came back
All
in the
right.
house with my wife and I was just strutting. I was like, oh, girl, you don't even know what I have. You don't even know about me.
Yeah. It
I
like
felt,
just lifts your butt enough that you're like, oh, everyone noticing.
yeah, I guess the best word is at the end of it, I felt empowered is the
There you
greatest.
go.
So yeah, it was really cool. Like it was fun to go try a new sport and just like the people in there didn't care who you were, your experience level. I had this much zero experience, and especially in high heels. And if I did, I wouldn't tell you on camera. Only on Friday nights. And it was just cool because they were super accepting. They didn't care if you never danced in high heels. They were there to help you out. So that was just the best part about it.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so all sorts of stuff coming down the pipeline that we'll be able to talk about soon.
Yep.
But you did mention that you still doing a little bit of training, and Olivia's coming in, and a couple other people are coming in, and they're coming into your barn, which is brand new. And I personally have been following your building journey on the gram, being so jealous. Tell us about it. Tell us everything.
Yeah, you guys don't record video, do you? It's okay.
Oh, we do.
So.
We're recording.
We do.
Right
It's
now.
going to be on YouTube.
Oh.
Yeah.
You
It's
can see-
so
yes.
pretty.
Everything you see, Simba, everything the light touches is yours.
Is yours. I'm so jealous. The lights look awesome.
I did not design it, to clarify. So my wife is a marketing and clothing designer, and so she has her degrees in that area of fashion buying. And so this is an easy leap for her. And so it's two-toned. It's always going to be everything in the gym is going to be black. So black rig, black plates, black everything, black lights, but then everything else is white. And so it's very two-tone, like the house we renovated. It is 50 by 70. With
enormous.
Huge. Yeah. And it's got big old concrete pads in the front and then the back that has an outdoor rig on them too. So it's just going to be a bunch of play space.
It is so cool. And foreshadowing, but you've got some big plans coming up for how to use it, put it to good use.
Yeah. So the idea was never, let's create, like, I get asked, like, the best part was, they're like, you literally built this barn and then you retired? Are you an idiot? Like,
you're like, oh, I actually did think this through, but thanks.
Yeah. So the idea has never been like, I mean, like when you train for the games, you can train anywhere and get fit. Like I had a barn I worked out in that was 20 by 30. It was much smaller than this and I still got it done. So you don't need a big place to train, but the idea has always been to bring people in. My wife and I love to host people, we just love to pour into people and meet people in the sport because our community has been so great. And so we're actually, tomorrow, I'll probably announce, but I'll just say announce is easy. We're going to announce the first camp. So we're going to hold our first camp. I believe it's June 4, 5, and 6, which is a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And it's going to be the first camp we're going to have is going to be only open to like 10 of the 10 teenagers that already qualified to the games that have qualified. Because at that point, their ACOG will be done. They'll have their names slated, and we're going to open it up to 10 of them to come out. We're going to have a bonfire. We're going to have a good time. We're going to have some in-house chiropractors or PT show up, and we're not going to shoot guns. Okay, that's inappropriate.
Okay,
but
cool.
we are.
Whatever. You were already a gun expert when you were their age.
But we are definitely going to have a good time and work out and just kind of teach them some stuff before the games and have a good time. So.
And like they get to be with one another, which I think is really special.
Yeah.
Like the camaraderie and the training that you can do when you're with your peers. I mean, probably for the most part, these kids are training with like one coach or in a CrossFit gym with a whole bunch of adults. So it's just, I think it'll be something really emotional and really special for them to like have the camaraderie of their peers.
Yeah. So we actually did something very similar to this, not this level, a couple years back. When Ellie had qualified for her first year at the game. So this is like 4 or 5 years ago. And Olivia was like a sprout. We invited, there were actually like 3 teenagers out of Kansas City that qualified to go to the games. Cole Greshavier being one of them, who is now individual category. And then I can't remember the other girls that went. Anyways, so we actually had them come to our gym and train. It was like 4 of them train together. And they were so awkward in the beginning. But the point was like, get them to meet each other. That way, when you go to the games, you're like, oh, I have a friend already. I know this person. I can talk to them. And so that, I think most of the kids now then in teenage division probably know each other. But the point is, like have them connect each other, have them have a good time with each other. That way, when they go to the games, they're like, hey, I don't feel awkward. Because I mean, the first time I went to the games, I didn't know a soul.
Right.
And you feel awkward. And you're like, you don't know anybody. You're like, I don't want to go talk to Rich. He's scary. Or Jason Khalipa's too big. Or whatever the case
Like,
is.
who do
And
I
so,
sit and eat my like pre-packed lunch with? Like, I don't, do you want a rice cake? I don't know.
you want to trade lunches? I have a snackable. And so the idea is like connect them up, have them meet each other. That way, when they go to the games, they're like, oh yeah, we already hung out. We already had roasted wieners at Heppner's house and had a good time or whatever.
I
Wieners.
love
Don't
that.
say wieners. Let's say roast hot dogs.
There you go. There you go. Don't say wieners to teenagers. We're
say
learning
wieners.
lots of lessons. Don't shoot guns and don't say wieners.
don't
And
say
then
wieners.
after the teens, when can John and I come? That's the real question.
Well, honestly, I don't even care if you come out for that. You just come out and hang out with these teenagers. That would be fine by me. So we're going to we're going to test out the teenagers first, like 10 athletes, see what we can do conceivably. Because I've always wanted to keep it small. The smaller it is, the more intimate it is, the more you get to know somebody, hang out. You connect connections, you create a relationship. If it's like 20 or 30, you're just not going to know everybody. And then we're going to do another one for the general population that'll be open. And I believe that is the second weekend in August. Don't quote me. It's in August. It'll be after the games. So the idea is like, hey, come out. We're going to have a good time. It'll still be in summer. It'll be really hot. And we're just going to open to the general population. So it'll be fun too.
And that'll be like you coaching people, you getting to know people doing workouts, but also just like having fun and hanging out. Like,
yeah. So
camp.
Yeah, exactly. So like the teenagers walk through like the teenage kind of like how it'll work for them. They'll show up. Obviously, teenagers are a little bit different because we have to provide travel for them and like provide like pickups in a van or whatever. I won't be handing out candy. And
I
anyway,
thought that was okay. I thought it was okay to eat Snickers bars while we trained now.
Oh, I was saying like pick them up in a van and hand them candy.
Oh, you're like, this is come with me. I have puppies and rolls.
So it's obviously a little bit different for teenagers, but the concept is like bring them in, go out to dinner, come to the barn, hang out. I'll have my coaches come into the gym and also coach. There'll be me and my coaches that I have providing. And then we're also every time going to probably try and bring in like a subject matter expert in some form or fashion. Like, hey, we're going to bring in, Shane from Dark Horse Roaring or Chris, and bring someone in to obviously bring people in too, so you can learn something from someone else who's a subject matter expert. But the idea is like, come learn, come hang out, create connections, stuff like that.
Just nerd out on
Pet Winston.
being a part of this community. Oh, and Pet Winston. Oh my God, would pay just for a weekend of that.
Hey, so I think I've always wanted to do this, but it's very expensive. I think I'm going to have a booth at the games for one of my companies, but I've always wanted to have a booth at the games for just like, come play with Winston, like come kiss Winston, come give Winston a hug, and just have like a kissing booth, but just for my dog. And just be like, hey, it's $1. Come hug my dog.
That would be like the most like charitable booth purchase you could ever do for our community. It's what we all need.
Exactly. It's like, hey, $1, come hang out with my dog for like 5 minutes, and all the money goes to SPCA or whatever the case may be. I was like, that'd be so cool to do that.
I love it. I have a feeling that getting a booth at the games is like hella expensive. So it would be a valuable gift to our community if you were to do something like that.
I would love to walk Winston around the games though.
Oh,
you know how much fun that would be?
So the best part is like, so we have right down the road from us is a Kansas City Renaissance Festival. It's like a 5-acre plot that they have the Renaissance Fair every year. Every year we go and I put him in a backpack and people don't even know him. And I get just attacked by people all the time. And I'm like, man, if you took it to a community where they actually know him, you'd be like the most popular guy running like for like the whole day.
Seriously. It's already impossible to like walk anywhere at games if people know who you are. Like I can't walk around with John at games. Because like we cannot get from point A to point B. I mean, you know what that's like.
Oh yeah.
So like if he had that dog, like it would be like an arena forms around him.
That's the point though. That's why I want to do it, because I don't think anyone would notice me. They'd see Winston, they wouldn't even know who I was. I'd just be the dog walker. It'd be great. Be the best. Just walk around. Winston's just living his best life, just smiling, wagging his little nub. It'd be awesome. Oh,
that would be so fun.
It would be.
So we are definitely considering doing something like that at the games, because obviously I'll be there, hopefully commentating, but I also have a booth for my company regardless. And so we're like, okay, well, can we bring the dog and put it in the booth?
Yes, I say yes. I have zero authority, but I allow it. 100%. Let's go. Dogs at the games are my favorite. I don't know. there's always like some like kind of like milling around, but it's like kind of like in the parking lot or whatever. And
Do they have to be working dogs? That's a good question though.
No, I don't know what the rules are. And I don't know if the rules are different this
Well,
year.
technically, Winston's a working dog because he's an internet star. He has a job.
He has a job.
yes.
He is working.
Yes.
He is also working it. I'm just saying.
Yes.
Just ragging that booty.
Just back and forth and back and forth. Well, when this all like becomes like real life and it's happening, how do people like find out more, sign up for camps, do all that fun stuff?
Yeah, so we're gonna announce that this will come out. We'll announce it tomorrow, which is gonna be March 24th. And then really for August, we're probably gonna open that up probably in June, I bet. But for the June camp, we're probably not gonna open it up for signups because I mean, hypothetically, like I could open up to Olivia to sign up, she'll be there. But it's like if she doesn't qualify, then I don't want her to really be there. So I have to almost wait and
invite
be like,
the people who qualify. Yeah,
yeah.
That
So
makes sense.
the first one, I'm gonna probably just hit up people. I'll probably go with her friends first, people she feels comfortable with. Or maybe I don't. Maybe I just bring in people she doesn't even like. I'm just kidding. That's not true. Just really screw with her. But like,
bring in the boy she has a crush on, but don't tell her. Like,
oh no, I'm like her older brother. We don't date boys. We don't have time for that.
No, of course, just kidding.
No,
Never.
There's
ever,
no time for
actually.
boys. Boys are crap.
Right.
But we'll probably reach out and kind of open it up. It'll probably be after the ACOG in May. I mean, you'll kind of know who's going to go pretty quickly, and then you just kind of let them know, hey, so what's going on? You have enough time to buy a ticket. We'll get you here. We'll get you all covered and stuff like that. So,
and then in the future, just like follow you, keep an eye on your channels, and you'll be posting about
we'll put it on the website
camps and stuff. Cool.
Yeah, we'll put it on the website. There'll be a button to buy. We'll put that all up when that comes out. So it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be fun.
Do you remember when you had like a job not in CrossFit and you were like trying to juggle all sorts of CrossFit and non-CrossFit jobs and you were like working probably 18 hours a day? Like now you have like businesses in and around this actual fitness space.
But it's even busier. That's the worst. That's the worst part. Like, but I think the thing is like, I think you're going to see a lot of athletes do that is you think like when I first found this sport, when you first find it and you realize, wow, this is freaking awesome. It doesn't matter if you're a CrossFit Games athlete or just a general person who just loves working out. You really just have like a community that surrounds you, whether it's in your local gym or gyms around you in the state, or you travel and go to a gym in the Bahamas or whatever. And like when you find a passion like that or a group of people like that, you tend to think, when you spend enough time in it, you think, okay, well, there are some things that can be done better. How do I help that to get done better for whether it's the coaches you're helping or the affiliate managers, whatever the case may be. And so like, it's just been a huge blessing to be like, okay, well, I'm done competing, you know, and when you compete, you're not really giving anything to the sport. Like people will say, oh, you helped grow the sport. Yeah, but it could have grown without me. Like it wasn't because of me that it grew. So now you think, well, how can I give back and create things that I've seen that are things that are necessary, that need to change, and then give back to the community at large and create something that can change the sport, hypothetically. So,
well, I don't fully agree that it would have grown without you. I do think that your competition days were definitely a part of, I don't know, kind of like growing the sport in a sense that like we need figureheads, we need people to look up to, we need elite athletes. Oh, here it comes.
No, I was just saying it. Well, plus we never would have figured out the handstand push-up standard without
there
Jacob.
It is.
So
it's on your fist, John. It's on your fist.
On
That's
your
how
fist.
You do it. On your fist. I should have created a t-shirt. I made millions.
You should.
Oh my God, you would have. But I'm serious. Like we're still at the point where figureheads and people to look up to, and like I'm trying to, now that I'm growing a human, I'm trying to hope that there's a point in time in the future where like, remember when we were kids and there were like posters of like athletes and astronauts and shit up on our walls, and like that was, I know I'm dating myself and I'm old as shit, but like that was like a thing. And yeah, eventually when I was a teenager I had like posters of NSYNC up too. It is what it is. But like that was like, there was a thing. It was a thing that when you like looked up to an athlete or an Olympian or someone who went to the moon, like that was like, and I'm really hoping that the next generation that has people like you in the sport to look up to kind of will get back to that, where like that's the goal and that's the person I want to be like. And that's
I'm not even sure that's the next generation though, Nikki. I think that's all the generations. That's what's, to me, that's what's really unique about CrossFit is that you have people my age, you know, old guys out there going, oh, I want to be like Jacob Heppner, or I want to be like Matt Frazier, or I want to be like Rich Froning, like you see what people can achieve, because you do get to see like kind of the linear journey of people through the sport. Like, we mentioned Dolan Pepper earlier, who was just a skinny little kid when he started. He's like 3 men now. Like if you see a picture of this guy, he's monstrously big, and you see that and you're like, oh man, like I realize he's young, but look at what he's achieved in just like a 4 or 5 year period. And then you look at other athletes that have come in and 4 or 5 years later, they're fighting for podium spots. And you're like, man, like if they can go from, granted, most of you guys were pretty fit starting, but you see this big jump in fitness. Chandler's a great example of this. Someone who came in that he was really fit, but he wasn't CrossFit fit, and now, here he is. Like, I'll be shocked if he's not fighting for a podium spot this year.
Oh, for sure.
And he's someone you look at and you go, man, what a great guy. Like, not only do I want to be fit like him, but I want to be like him.
Totally.
Absolutely. I remember when he first showed up. So I think I was the first CrossFit Games athlete that allowed him to come work out with me, because I don't care who you are. So his family lives, like, he was born and raised like 15 minutes south of my house. And so he was like, hey, can I come work out with you? My name's Chandler Smith. I don't know who the guy was. I was like, yeah, hey, come work out. I remember the first day he came and worked out, his muscle ups were ugly. He could jerk a lot, but it was so ugly. Like, his front rack was terrible.
Still is. Front rack is still terrible. Okay.
Oh, it's still bad. He still has to fix it this day. But I remember thinking, and that's why I liked him. Like, I don't care if you're the first in the sport or dead last in the sport. All I want to see in someone who comes and trains with me, or someone you hang out with, it's kind of like the front porch rule. Like, who do you want to spend the rest of your life? Who could you hang out in the front porch with? Is you want to hang out with someone like Chandler. You want to hang out with someone who just takes life, like has a good time, isn't super serious, but also is a hard-working guy. And that's what I love. I've always loved Chandler just because of that. Like, he's just always been my favorite. So I'm definitely a huge fan now. I'm like, please win this.
Well,
also Noah, but we'll see.
But I think that's how our sport's different. It's like, when we were kids growing up, Nikki verbalized it perfectly. Like, I had all those same posters on my wall. It was all in my age, because I'm old. It was like Tony Dorsett and Roger Staubach and all these, football. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm like, right? What? Pardon?
Look it up, Nikki.
I had a poster.
These are Dallas Cowboy football players from the 1970s and 80s. All right.
Oh,
anyway.
yeah.
So,
football. I had a poster of Bo Derek up on my wall.
I had that too. But
I had Justin Bieber.
Hey.
We had much different childhoods, Jacob. So anyway, my point is, though, like, you see those guys and like in these, professional football players, and they seem superhuman, like almost it's just like a movie star. Like, they're just not real. It's like seeing Captain America,
Totally.
You see a CrossFitter and you're like, I do the same workouts as that guy. Like, I can become that if I work hard enough. And I think that's the beauty of our community. Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, we always start from the same spot. Like, if you want to go to the games, we all do the open. Now, some of us don't make it to the games or don't want to, don't aspire to, but we all start ground zero every single year. And that's what I love about the sport.
Well, and I think at all ages, it's like, my dad messaged me tonight asking me, it just cracks me up, because in my head, I can hear him saying it in a Southern accent, but he messaged me. He's like, hey, are you having problems breathing after COVID? Because he got it too, And I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm getting it together. Why? He's like, it's that last workout. He's like, man, I would have finished that 3 months ago, but I didn't finish it this time. He's 76 years old. He didn't finish 21.2, and he's blaming it on COVID. I'm like, all right, Dad. Like, so I'm having to explain to him how burpees and snatches like suck your lungs out,
Nah.
But it's the same thing. Like, he's, even at 76, he's sitting there thinking, I can do what everybody else does, or I should be aspiring to do what everybody else does. And it's really kind of touching and probably the thing I love most about what we do.
Absolutely. Amen. So true.
So you got to pull that through in your underwater basket weaving.
Yeah. See, I've been practicing. Okay. I put my head underwater and I'm just like, oh yeah. Getting this basket weaving this thing so fast.
Because we don't know what your sport's going to be. I've got to gin up drama for this podcast now. And at some point early on in the podcast, you said, Matt Frazier wasn't good at everything. So I'm just going to clip that part out and just make that the headline for the entire podcast. Jacob Heppner says Matt Frazier's not good at anything, and we're just going to run with it.
He's going to text me and be like, "What the crap, Jacob?" I'm going to be like, "Hey, Matt, you've been starting all this drama with everybody else. I figured, why can't I?"
Exactly.
Jump spin on it. How's that? Is that okay? Where John's gonna write some caption that's like, Jacob calls Matt out on being bad at everything, also says his coffee sucks, and just like see what happens. Like totally like start some random shit.
Yeah, I'll definitely get a mean text message. Matt will be like, "What the crap, Jacob?" I'll be like, "Oh man, I'm so sorry. Coffee does taste like piss, though." I'm just kidding. I don't know what coffee tastes like. I'm not a coffee drinker, so I couldn't tell you.
He's like, wait till we come out and do that shooting competition. Whoops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Shot Jacob in the foot by accident.
Oh yeah. No, we'll definitely have to come back on after we announce what it is. It's gonna be really cool. So
that'll be fun.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah,
we'll
it'll be fun
definitely
to
have to
talk
come out once the camps open up to us regular folk, because John and I have been trying to get to some camp. We like have had this huge plan for like the last couple years, and of course, like I feel like we were hitting some great momentum, and then COVID totally came in here and just like squashed all of it. But we were gonna like go to events and like videotape ourselves and do camps and like fun stuff and like kind of take the podcast on the road a little bit when we could. And none of that ever came to fruition. But it's
COVID,
still
now the baby, like everything's screwed.
Oh, the baby's just gonna come. The baby's gonna be fitter than I am.
Yeah, sweet. I can look, I can babysit. I'm great with babies.
You're gonna be better than I am. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Please.
No, we'll definitely have to have you guys out. We'll put you. This is my standing desk that I can roll around. So we'll put you on my standing desk, and you can do your podcast right here.
It's perfect.
I'm bringing a tiny little saddle, and we're going to put it on Winston, and the baby's going to ride Winston around the barn. It's going to be fantastic.
What if I name the baby Winston too?
That'd be weird.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Do you have a name? Are you finding out the gender, or are you just going to go in surprise?
It's a boy.
Oh, congrats.
Thanks. And we're open to name suggestions still.
Wait,
I would ask not Winston.
What would you What were you going to say if she said it's a girl? You're going to be like, ooh, okay. Well, sorry. I love when they
Sorry about that.
It's a boy. Congrats. It's a girl. Ooh, all right. Well, good luck.
I was going to say congrats also, John. I was going to say, oh, yeah.
Yes.
No, we're open to name suggestions. We are still not any further than the last time. I can't remember when we talked about it last, but like we have like a short list of names we don't fucking hate, but nothing that's like come across that we've been like, that's the one. Well, for me, actually, I take that all back. The one is Tiberius, but Matt has vetoed that name hard.
What? No, it's a good Star Trek name. It's great. Tiberius.
I know. That's why I picked it. Don't you think Ty Brazier is a badass name for a little boy? Come on.
So I tell you what name you should take. That way you can take it away from my wife. When we have kids, she wants to name our boy Avery.
Okay.
Which I think is like a boy named Sue, like Johnny Cash. Like he's got to be tough to have the name Avery, which I'm not really cool with. So if you want to name your boy Avery, take it off my plate, then I can't have it. I'd be okay with that.
I don't hate it. I would add it to the list of names I don't hate.
I think it's actually the name of what she calls one of the better looking guys in Grey's Anatomy. So I think it's named after Grey's Anatomy.
I never watched Grey's, so I would never have known that.
But I think that's what it's from. She's like, he's such a good looking guy in Grey's Anatomy. We're gonna name our baby Avery.
You cannot let your wife name your baby after her celebrity crush. That is a rule. That is absolutely a rule.
But here I am trying to name my baby after a Star Trek character. So like, I don't know if I'm any better.
Well, I mean, I have a couple of friends who have named their baby after a Star Wars character. I guess his name Hux, and they named their kid Hux, which I actually like Hux. It's a good name. It's strong.
Hux is a cool name. My favorite name in the running right now is Hunter because I like the nickname Hunt. Little boy Hunt. Like that's
and Hunter
cute.
McIntyre. I love Hunter. So.
Oh yeah. I didn't even think about it. It's funny you say that. I was just thinking that I don't actually know any humans named Hunter for real, but I take that back. I totally do.
Well, is he though?
Oh, well, questionable.
I don't know. Maybe.
Is it when you were trying to come up with names, Nikki? How this is always happens. I feel like when you're trying to come up with names for a baby, how many times was it like your significant other would say a name and you'd be like, "Oh yeah, I hate that name. That was a terrible boyfriend or a terrible girlfriend or like a terrible friend in high school."
Yeah, every time before we found out the gender, this happened with girl names all the time where I'd be like, how about this? And like inevitably Matt would be like, oh, I knew a so-and-so growing up and she was such a bitch. And I'm like, damn it. Like that ruins a name forever. And you can't I really liked the name Hazel. And he was like, I knew the worst Hazel. And I'm like, Dad, this sucks. Like, shit. What do I do? I can't do anything about that.
Oh, that's funny. That always comes up, I feel like.
Look,
It's the worst.
I tell everyone John Woolley's a good name for a boy or a girl.
He does say that. He does say that.
Just pick.
Yeah, well, I'm open to suggestions. I don't know if maybe I should even say that out loud, but I get the weirdest DMs.
I think
now.
we need a contest. I've got some games tickets to give away. We could give away games tickets. Name Nikki's baby.
Wait, that's way better than what I was thinking, because I was like, I have some Make Pods Great Again patches we can give away.
I think you should just be like, you should just roll a dice and be like, it's a boy, right? We already know that. You roll a dice and that number will tell you, say it's 17, and whoever gets 17th at the games, that's who you name it after, that first name. Roll with it.
Oh, it's perfect. We need a 40-sided die or whatever.
Perfect.
Yeah, or just, that'd work, yeah.
You know, no, I don't know. I truly don't know how you go about naming a human. Like, it is such a big decision that every time we think about it, I'm like, let's think about something else.
Well, and here's the thing, Nikki. So my two, I have one that has a really unusual name, one that has a very normal name, right? So the unusual is a family name, and the one with the normal name, like to this day, still bitches me out for it, right? Like
that her name is normal.
Well, it's like, like
one got Mira and I got
Mira got the really special family name, and then Meg got the one that just sounds fun. It's like they're like the throwaway name, and they're both special to me. But
of course they are. You picked them, and now understand how stressful and difficult it is, and you picked them, and so it's a big deal for you. But I hear what you're saying.
It is a big deal, and then when you look back on it, and you look at the names you passed on, and you're like, oh, like one of the names was Emma, and I look at both my daughters, I'm like, neither one of you jerks is an Emma. Like, no chance. No chance.
That's just it. Is you identify so hard with your name, or some people do. I do. I don't think I could be anything other than a Nikki. Granted, Nikki is a stripper name, but I identify so hard with it.
With the stripper. I mean? With your name.
Yeah, with every aspect of it. Totally. I don't know, guys.
It's a lot of.
If you think of anything good, text me.
I've known some people that have not named their baby like until a couple days after they've had it. I've known that too.
I don't hate that. I at least don't hate the idea of going in with a short list and then seeing him, meeting him, and then being like, I think it's this,
Yeah.
That's what my parents did for me. I was almost a Danielle.
I think that would have been fine. Danielle would have been fine.
Would have been all right.
I don't know any Danielles I don't like, so.
Okay, great. No one dated a shitty Danielle, so we're good in this conversation.
Yeah,
fantastic. Fantastic. Oh, I don't know, guys. I don't know.
All right. Well, our homework will be Jacob, you and me, let's pick a name for Nikki's baby, and Matt doesn't get a choice. Sorry, Matt.
Give me something that's cool and unique without being fucking weird. That you forgot the end of my sentence.
No.
You can't be fucking weird.
What's weird with Batman? There's nothing weird about Batman. He's a hero, Nikki.
Do you think that people legally name their kids Batman? Oh, wait. Holy shit. Did you watch the Snyder Cut yet?
It's amazing.
It's amazing. Did you watch it yet?
I cried.
I think I'm 2 hours in.
Oh, you're only halfway. I'm so excited for you.
I got up at 4 a.m. to watch it. I'm not making that up. I got up and watched the whole thing end to end, and I'm literally sitting there just like starstruck the whole time. Like, I've been waiting for this movie my whole life for it to be right, because I wanted the last one to be great. I'm a huge Batman fan, huge Superman, love DC Comics. When Justice League came out, I was like, this is a big piece of crap. And like, I'm one of those guys, like, I will give a movie better reviews than it deserves usually because it's a superhero movie, and I'm like, I'm a nerd.
And I just want to be entertained. Like, I'm really not a critic.
Yeah. Well, I bought the original, theatrical release, and I've watched it once because it's such a piece of crap. I just can't watch it. And so I've been waiting for the Snyder Cut, and oh my God, did it deliver.
Oh my God, it's so good.
So good. So good.
Sorry, I can't get behind. I didn't grow up reading comics, so it's just Star Wars. That's all I read. That and Hardy Boys, DC. But I watched it. It's good. It's better than Justice League. I did not like Wonder Woman 1980. I didn't like that.
You didn't?
That one. No.
Really?
It's like it was a movie about dreams. That's literally is like, do you have some dreams? dreams.
Yeah, see, I haven't seen that one yet, but Jacob and I could sit here and talk about Star Wars for probably another 2 hours if we wanted to.
Same. We're now watching them all chronologically, like timeline wise, because my husband has not seen them all.
What about The Mandalorian? Are you guys watching The Mandalorian?
Are we watching The Mandalorian? Or did we watch, I guess, The Mandalorian?
You would watch that one after Return of the Jedi, I believe.
Well, we watched it when it first came out, but now we're gone back in because now Disney Plus has like all the things. So that's kind of on our long to-do list.
I was skeptical at first when they took over Lucasfilms, but they have done a good job. I like the series.
Agree.
The Mandalorian to me, season 2 is like, this is what this is what I wanted as an 8-year-old boy. This is exactly what I wanted.
100%.
It's better than the new trilogy. End to end, it's better than the new trilogy. Like
I agree.
They could throw that out, just pretend it never happened. Keep making the Mandalorian, make an Ahsoka series, make an Obi-Wan series, make a Darth Maul series. Like, keep doing what they did with the Mandalorian. I'll be super ecstatic.
I totally agree.
I will pay them every year for Disney Plus. I'll double it, triple it. You tell me what you need and I'll pay for it.
Name your price, Disney. Name it.
Okay, I will just say, this is the last thing I'll say, just on the Snyder Cut. I'm a huge superhero movie fan. Anytime I ever travel, I only watch superhero movies on the plane. I don't know why. That's just like my thing. And I travel a lot. Obviously, we all do for CrossFit things. Mm-hmm. And I'm not a huge DC person. I'm a huge Marvel person, not a huge DC person, but I love all things Wonder Woman. And so I've seen Justice League, the original, 100,000 times. And it was never like a great cinematic piece in my mind, but like, I like it. I like all the superheroes and all the action and all the things, whatever. This Snyder Cut was like, it rocked my world. It blew my mind. It was just like, and again, I'm not like a cinematic snob, but just like the shots, like the way that they actually showed what the fuck was, and the plot is completely different. All right, I'm done. Go watch it. Buy an HBO subscription. Dedicate a weekend to watching this 4.5 hour long movie. I watched it after my second COVID vaccine, where I was like dying.
Oh, yeah.
It was like what I needed to stay alive.
What, you were dying from the vaccine? It didn't go well.
That's your tagline, actually. That's your headline.
Yes.
I died from the vaccine.
Nikki
Yeah,
died.
I had one really rough night, and not fun.
One rough night. Oh, I'm sorry, Nikki.
Hey, look, something happens if you're sick and you're pregnant. Some shit, like, just your wires are crossed differently. I don't know, but I like felt like I've never felt before. It was not fun. I was like, do I have a fever of 202? I don't know where I am or what's happening. Matt was like, no, your fever's 100.2. You're fine.
Well, I'm glad you survived the shot.
Thanks. Sorry, I drug out the end of this episode a lot just now, but we can talk about nerdy things.
We should have led with the Snyder Cut. We'll have to do a whole episode on the Snyder Cut, because I could talk about Wonder Woman for hours. She was great in that. So
I know. Can we? And we should bring you back to talk about it, because I also have feelings about the second Wonder Woman movie.
All right,
not as strong as yours, but I have feelings.
Let's throw something on the calendar for like 2 or 3 weeks from now, when I can talk about new sport, and we can talk about how much the first Wonder Woman was literally, I think, the best Marvel movie I've ever seen. I love origin stories, and that was wonderful.
Same. Yeah. I'm just eternally pissed that she's not some like strong cut bitch with abs. But that's a whole nother argument.
But I love
like her.
Gal Gadot was like already in the Israeli army, because they obviously make them enlist for many years. Right. She was already in there. That was awesome.
Right. I love that. But I also I just wish that if we have like a strong female character, let's make her look like a strong female character. Let's still not make her look like she's perfect for the role. I just wish they were like, work out a little, like, you know, like make it like normalize the rest of the way that the Amazons look in the lead role. Yeah. That's my only issue.
But funny enough, I messaged Brooke Ince about that. So
she had more screen time in Zack Snyder, much more.
Yeah, well, much more.
Yeah, well, she had something in her story and about the Snyder Cut, and so I just like shot her fast DM, and I'm like, hey, by the way, you were awesome. Like your scene was fantastic, and she messaged shocked me by actually messaging back. She goes, I haven't seen it yet. She goes, like, I haven't looked at it yet. I'm like, trust me, it is so good. You got so much more screen time. It's so much better than it was before.
It's excellent.
Like,
but
And she looks like an Amazon in that, like
Oh, hell yeah.
abs and biceps and super
Totally.
strong. Like it was really good.
Like normalized, like the more we put strong women or strong looking women or whatever, normalizing that into lead roles, the less like people look at me sideways when I wear a tank top to the supermarket. And that's kind of what I'm hoping for future generations.
Well, I want to normalize bald guys with noodle arms.
That
So
too.
people,
Bring it on.
so people don't look at me weird when I wear.
I'm almost
a tank
there,
top.
John. I'm almost
Yes,
there. I'm
you
catching,
are.
I'm catching it over.
Yes, you are.
I'm gonna need a bald cap for our next episode just so I can match.
I know, it's all good. All right, well, Jacob, thanks for being on. We appreciate it. I hope you do really well in your Llama Rodeo. It's gonna be fantastic. And
It's all in the wrist, John. It's all in the wrist.
I've said that since I was a kid. All right, so Nikki,
Yeah.
great seeing you again. As always, glad you survived the shot. Next episode, we're going to talk about Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
For an hour. It's going to be great.
Yeah, we'll do it. I'm ready.
And llamas. And llamas.
And llamas and
a little
Llama
bit of Star
Rodeo.
Wars.
Star Wars and some ping pong. All right, everybody listening, we appreciate you guys joining us, and we'll chat with you guys soon.